Might have seen the video clip going around of Jennifer Lopez seemingly spitting her chewing gum into her assistant's hand on a film set right before shooting a take. And the assistant who was in that video has basically come out and said, look, this video clip comes up on social every few years.
Thank you, Jennifer.
For the first time, Jennifer Lopez speaking out to Interview magazine about her divorce from husband Ben Affleck, telling Nikki Glazer her world exploded, saying, quote, "It feels lonely, unfamiliar, scary. It feels sad. It feels desperate."
What if I told you that the Hollywood icon Jennifer Lopez, with her dazzling smile and stellar career, has a side so dark that it's left her closest allies turning their backs?
Jennifer just looked at me, just gave me a blank stare, and then looked away to her bodyguards as if you were told to get this trash and clear the room.
This story has it all. Betrayal, accusations, and the chilling silence that speaks volumes. Let's dive in. Jennifer Lopez, or J-Lo as the world adores her, has built an empire as a global superstar. With an illustrious career spanning decades, she's the epitome of success. But as the lights dim and the curtains fall, shocking truths about her alleged behavior and connections have started to surface. Today, we're peeling back the layers of her glamorous image to reveal allegations that will leave you stunned. Let's start with the clip that had everyone's jaw on the floor. Picture this. J-Lo on a film set casually spits out her chewing gum directly into her assistant's hand. Yep, you heard that right. No napkin, no trash can, just a bare hand. And the assistant? They didn't flinch, almost like it was just another day at work. When the video resurfaced on social media, it reignited conversations about J-Lo's alleged diva behavior. Some fans defended her, saying it was a busy film set moment, but others were less forgiving, calling it humiliating and demeaning. This incident isn't an isolated event. It highlights an alleged culture of compliance among her staff, where even demeaning acts are normalized. Insiders claim this moment is just a glimpse into the micromanaged and demanding environment that J-Lo's assistants are subjected to daily. For fans who've idolized her for years, this behavior feels like a betrayal of her carefully curated public image. Moreover, the gum-spitting saga has sparked broader conversations about how celebrities treat their staff. Many have pointed out that such behavior from a global icon sets a troubling precedent. If J-Lo, with her immense influence, can treat her staff this way, what message does it send to others in positions of power? Rewind to the early 2000s and 10s when J-Lo was dating Casper Smart. Insiders revealed shocking details about Casper's treatment of J-Lo's staff. Allegedly, he demanded to be addressed as Mr. Smart and had no qualms about making unreasonable demands, like sending J-Lo's assistant Jilly Liar to fetch him drinks. J-Lo's apparent indifference to this behavior raised eyebrows. Was this a case of love blinding her to Casper's actions, or was she complicit in the mistreatment of her staff? Jilly didn't stick around for long. She eventually left to work for Mariah Carey, citing a toxic work environment. Fans couldn't help but notice the irony, leaving J-Lo for another diva, but it seemed like a step up in this case. Adding fuel to the fire, insiders claimed Casper's Mr. Smart persona created tension not just with staff, but also with J-Lo's close collaborators. Some alleged he would assert unnecessary authority in situations, often clashing with seasoned professionals in J-Lo's inner circle. This power struggle reportedly made working conditions even more unbearable for the team. Interestingly, while J-Lo's relationship with Casper ended years ago, the stories of his behavior during their time together linger. They serve as a reminder of how the people we surround ourselves with can shape public perceptions, for better or worse. For J-Lo, it's a chapter many believe she'd rather forget. One of the most jarring moments in J-Lo's career involves her longtime makeup artist, Scott Barnes. After a leak from her team revealed details about her marriage plans with Mark Anthony, J-Lo pointed fingers at Scott without proof. She fired him on the spot and told her team to cut all ties with him. Months later, when the real culprit was found, J-Lo reportedly called Scott to ask him to return, not to apologize, but simply to resume working with her. Shockingly, he agreed. Scott has since spoken graciously about the incident, but fans saw this as another red flag. Why was J.Lo so quick to cast blame, and how could she expect loyalty after such treatment? The betrayal didn't just affect Scott professionally, it also took a toll on his reputation. Being accused of leaking confidential information in Hollywood can be career-ending, and for months, Scott faced isolation and rumors. Even though he returned to work with J.Lo, insiders claim the dynamic between them was never quite the same. This incident also highlights a recurring theme in J.Lo's career, a tendency to act impulsively when she feels her privacy is threatened. While it's natural to want to protect personal matters, critics argue that her approach often alienates those closest to her, creating an environment of fear rather than trust. J.Lo's relationship with Sean "Diddy" Combs from 1999 to 2001 was tumultuous at best. In recent years, Diddy's name has been embroiled in serious allegations, from wild freak-off parties to mistreatment of women. Former insiders claim J.Lo was not only aware of these parties, but participated in them. While one of J.Lo's former assistants, Thea Souza, came forward to clear her name, stating that J.Lo was unaware of Diddy's alleged actions, fans remain skeptical. Why hasn't J.Lo herself spoken up? Even when pressed by fans at recent public events, she's remained tight-lipped, walking away from questions about Diddy's controversies. Adding to the complexity is the resurfacing of old interviews, where J.Lo spoke candidly about her turbulent relationship with Diddy. While she admitted to being emotionally affected by his infidelity, her silence on the larger controversies surrounding him raises eyebrows. Fans wonder if her reluctance to address these issues stems from fear of being implicated or a desire to protect her carefully curated brand. Furthermore, Diddy's ongoing legal battles and public scandals have brought J.Lo's name back into the spotlight, even though their relationship ended decades ago. Critics argue that her silence, intentional or not, inadvertently keeps her tied to his controversies, making it harder for her to move on. As if allegations of diva behavior weren't enough, J.Lo's treatment of her children's nannies adds another layer. Insiders revealed that J.Lo expected a single nanny to work 16-hour days, 7 days a week, without assistance. Unsurprisingly, her first nanny quit after just 1 week. The second didn't last much longer. Fans questioned why someone as wealthy as J.Lo wouldn't hire more help. Was it a case of frugality, or does it speak to an overarching pattern of unreasonable demands? Interestingly, this isn't the first time J.Lo's expectations of her staff have come under scrutiny. Former employees have shared anecdotes of being expected to drop everything at a moment's notice, often sacrificing personal time to meet her needs. For many, the role of working for J.Lo becomes less about professional growth and more about survival in a high-stress environment. The nanny allegations also reignite debates about how celebrities balance work, parenting, and staff management. For J.Lo, who has often spoken about the challenges of being a working mom, these stories seem to contradict the image of a hands-on, relatable parent she's worked hard to cultivate. J.Lo's alleged diva behavior doesn't stop with her nannies. Drivers who worked for her reported being subjected to extreme rules: no talking, no looking at her, and, most bizarrely, no glancing at her through the rearview mirror. Breaking any of these rules could reportedly result in immediate termination. One former driver, Jacob Manoyan, even sued J.Lo, claiming he was mistreated and forced to resign. While the case was eventually settled, it painted a troubling picture of how J.Lo treats those who work for her. Jacob's lawsuit also shed light on the power dynamics within J.Lo's team. Allegedly, her manager, Benny Medina, played a significant role in creating a hostile work environment, often clashing with staff members. For Jacob, the constant tension and lack of support from J.Lo made the job unbearable, forcing him to take legal action. What stands out in these allegations is the pattern of lawsuits and settlements that follow J.Lo's career. While it's not uncommon for high-profile figures to face legal challenges, the consistency of these stories paints a picture of a work environment fraught with conflict and dissatisfaction. When it comes to tipping, stories about J.Lo's alleged stinginess are legendary. One particularly infamous incident involved her husband, Ben Affleck, tipping a casino worker $10,000 after a night of excellent service. But when J.Lo found out, She allegedly took the money back and reduced the tip to just a few dollars. Ben later sent the worker flowers and a $25,000 tip to make up for the situation. Fans couldn't help but question why J.Lo, with her immense wealth, would go to such lengths to avoid tipping generously. Beyond the casino incident, former service workers have shared stories of J.Lo's reluctance to tip during public outings. Some claim she has a reputation for being overly critical of service, often using minor mistakes as justification for withholding gratuity. For many, this behavior feels out of touch, especially coming from someone who's built her brand on relatability. Critics argue that J.Lo's tipping habits reveal a deeper issue of control. By dictating how and when tips are given, she not only undermines her partner's decisions, but also sends a message to service workers about their perceived value. For fans, this behavior feels at odds with the empowering persona she projects in her music and films. According to a former backup singer, J.Lo's treatment of her team is as icy as it gets. The singer claimed J.Lo would avoid hiring Latina women or anyone she perceived as competition. During rehearsals, she allegedly ignored her backup singers, acknowledging them only with scoffs or eye rolls. The singer described the work environment as toxic, with J.Lo's demeanor shifting only when men were present. These allegations raise questions about how J.Lo views collaboration versus competition. While it's natural to want to stand out, critics argue that her alleged behavior goes beyond self-preservation, bordering on insecurity. For backup singers, who often play a crucial role in live performances, being treated as invisible feels both demoralizing and unprofessional. Furthermore, the backup singer's claims echo similar stories from other collaborators who've worked with J.Lo. Whether it's dancers, vocalists, or crew members, the recurring theme is a lack of acknowledgement and respect. For someone who's achieved so much through teamwork, these allegations feel like a stark contradiction. Another jaw-dropping story involves a doorman who was reportedly fired simply for looking at J.Lo. According to witnesses, J.Lo berated another staff member after the doorman's innocent glance, ultimately demanding his termination. Fans were outraged, questioning how such a minor incident could lead to someone losing their job. This incident has since become a symbol of the alleged Jenny from the block facade. While J.Lo's public persona emphasizes humility and connection with her roots, these stories suggest a disconnect between the image and reality. For fans, it's a harsh reminder that celebrities are often far more complex than their curated personas. The doorman's story also highlights the power imbalance in celebrity-staff relationships. For workers, challenging unfair treatment can mean risking their livelihoods. For J.Lo, it's another example of how her actions, whether intentional or not, can have far-reaching consequences. So what do we make of all this? Is Jennifer Lopez a misunderstood perfectionist? Or is there truth to the growing list of allegations against her? From her alleged mistreatment of staff to her ties with controversial figures, the stories paint a complicated picture. As more people come forward, the cracks in her carefully curated image become harder to ignore. What's your take on this drama? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more juicy updates. Trust me, you won't want to miss what's coming next.